Hello everyone, TT-N-PStudio here, and as you can probably tell, this is the Q&A video. Now, a lot of you have sent in questions, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. I may not get to all of them though, unfortunately, so if I don't answer your question, I apologize in advance. So, without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so the first question is, how did you get into Thomas, and what would you do if the show ever ended? Well, pretty much like a lot of you, I got into Thomas when I was very young, like, toddler. So my parents got me a lot of the Ertl models, and I had a bunch of VHS tapes of Thomas, as well as like watching Shiny Time Station, so that was fun. But if the show ever ended, you know what? I don't see that in the future, but at this moment, but if it does ever end when it gets to that point, I still think there will be fan content out there that anyone could just watch, so even if the show ends, we still have that to watch, so yeah. How did you first get into Take and Play? Well, as I said before, I had a large Ertl collection, and when Ertl stopped producing their stuff in like 2002, that's when I got Take Along. Because back then, the Take and Play range was called Take Along. So I just pretty much got Take Along and my Ertls, and I just played with both of them, because I think I got Take Alongs because the height was very similar to the Ertls, but yeah, and then eventually I just kept collecting, and then when the brand got Take and Play, just still collected. Who was your first Take Along? I actually got both Salty and Harvey at the same time, so those two were technically my first Take Along models. What made you want to use Take and Play for your videos? I think the reason I wanted to use Take and Play was because, as I said before, I have a huge Take and Play collection now. And surprisingly, there's not a lot of people that use Take and Play, that make content with Take and Play, which I was kind of surprised. I mean, there are people like Thomas Take and Play Productions, Rosie the Cutie, 1995, but there's just not a whole lot of people. So I kind of wanted to help get the word out, because I really do think Take and Play is an underrated toy range, even if it does have a drop in quality as of late, even now. But yeah, I just wanted to actually do something with my toys since they were just sitting on my shelf at home. So, yeah. What video software do you use for making videos? I use Final Cut Pro X, which has never let me down, and it's awesome and professional, and yeah, I just really like the program. Are you planning on making Pip and Emma's coaches one day? Yes, I am. Yeah, when I did the video showcasing my Pip and Emma, I didn't make the coaches yet, so I had a whole bunch of Annie and Clarabelles, and I'll apologize in advance if you find that a little bit, irritating, but yeah, expect coaches for Pip and Emma one day. Are you planning to get new versions of the characters you have? Probably not. I'll just stick with the versions that I have now. Do you like the new magnets that the new Take and Plays have? They're okay. I much prefer the old magnets because the old magnets actually work both ways for both engines and rolling stock, whereas these magnets are just one way only. For those of you who collect Wooden Railway, you know what I mean by that, but yeah, I much prefer they're okay, but I much prefer the older magnets. Will you start your own series? Yeah, I've got several people that ask me this question. I've had some ideas for stories that I want to do, but I don't know, I just feel like the scripts I type aren't as good. I mean, I probably just need someone to look at them and just to fix a few things, but you know what, I wouldn't mind trying out a few more stories and see how it goes, because I did Runaway Railboat, which I found it was okay for a first try, but yeah, do you guys want me to make my own series? Leave a comment below, and then who knows, maybe we'll see in the future. If the RWS made a comeback, who would you want writing stories? Probably Christopher Audrey again, or at least one of the Audreys, because, they're the ones that wrote the book in the first place, so why have someone that's not in the family write the books? Come on. What are 3 favorite Take and Play and Take Along models? Oh, that's a pretty tough question, because I like a lot of them for a bunch of different reasons, but I guess if I had to choose 3 that stand out to me, I would probably have to go with Thomas, because Thomas is my favorite character, even though he seems like a show mascot type and people can't stand him, but he's my favorite character. But the other 2 that I kind of like are Hank and Neville. The take and play models of them look pretty interesting, and I don't know, I just really like them. What is my least favorite take and play model? Again, it's a really hard choice because they all have their strengths and weaknesses, I think, but if I had to choose one off the top of my head, I would probably say Billy. I mean, it's cool that Billy's an orange tank engine, but I don't know, there's just something about Billy that's a little bit... I don't know the right word for it. Billy just looks a little bit bland in my opinion. Have you collected other Thomas merchandise besides Take and Play and Ertl? I actually do have a very, very small wooden railway collection, which, like, my parents got me, like, a few of those when I was little too, but I was more into Ertl than wooden railway. Not dissing wooden railway users, but it never really just caught my attention. But I do have a small collection that I am a little bit proud of. Did you like The Great Race? Yes, I did. Is it the best special? No, but it's not the worst either. I mean, there is a lot of stuff going on in that movie, and the plot just is absolutely everywhere, but it's at least rewatchable, so I'll at least give them that. Now, a lot of people sent in this question about customs. So, what inspired you to create custom take-and-play items, and will you do more? Well, the reason I really started to make custom take-and-plays is because there were several characters out there that I know would never be released for take-and-play. Like, there's the Wooden Railway exclusives, Logan, Sam, and Dustin, that I know aren't ever going to be released for take-and-play, for example. But then there's also Railway series characters like Bear, Pip and Emma, maybe potentially the Cody Fell engines, that are never going to be released in Take and Play anytime soon. So I pretty much made them because like I just wanted to have those characters in case I really do want to make my own series. So if I do make my own series, expect them to show up. Of all your custom models, which one is your favorite? I would have to say Flying Scotsman on that one. I am really proud of how Flying Scotsman turned out. Flying Scotsman probably took me the longest to make out of all of them, and I really am happy with how it turned out. What is your favorite Thomas and Friends item you have? Aside from like my Take and Plays and Ertls, I would have to probably say my VHS collection, because I've had all the tapes since I was a kid, and I really enjoy every once in a while just going back to my VHS player and watch them. And yes, I do have a VHS player still. How did you do the steam puffing effects for your Take and Plays? The steam effect is actually one of many effects from the program Motion, which is an Apple program. When I first discovered the steam effect, like, I knew I had to have it, because, like, even though it's fine if you have the engines move, like, without, like, any sort of special effects added to them, I just added the steam effect in there just to make them look a little bit more like an actual running railway, you know? But yeah, I'm really happy with how the steam turned out, and the steam will definitely be staying. Will you make more Tugs remakes? Yeah, I've been getting a good amount of questions on this as well, and this might destroy some of your hopes and dreams, but I'm not saying I'm completely abandoning them, but for the past like year or so, I've been feeling less and less like inspired to make those, because it's funny, because when I first started the channel, my goal was to make all 13 episodes. But then, like, life got in the way, and then I started focusing on other videos, and I found that I enjoy making those videos a lot more than the Tugs. So, I'm not saying that it's completely 100% discontinued, but I wouldn't really get your hopes up anytime soon. When collaborating in the Thomas Creator Collective, which scene did you enjoy the most? I think the scene for me that I'm personally really proud of is the Napper Station scene I did with, in Brother Bobber, with Scotsman and Gordon, I feel like of all the scenes I did, I personally really enjoyed that scene the most. But the City of Churros scene in the same episode was really fun to do as well. I was really happy with how that turned out as well, so yeah. Out of every season of Thomas and Friends, which one is your favorite? Oh, that's a tough question as well, because, like, there's a good amount of seasons that do well, and then there's a lot that don't do so well. But if I had to choose one season that really stood out to me that I really enjoyed, I would have to say probably Season 2. Because Season 2 was really, I think, the first season of Thomas I ever saw. And I don't know, there was something about Season 2 that I just really enjoyed. It's hard to describe, but I mean, yeah, I guess Season 2. Season 4, I will say, has beautiful shots. I love the sunset stuff they do. But yeah, I would still probably stick with Season 2. Which Thomas movie is your favorite? I would have to say Thomas and the Magic Railroad, because it was the first time I ever saw Thomas on the big screen, and as a kid, when you see a movie, when you see your favorite icon on the big screen, it pretty much is, there's no experience like it. So, the movie, there are problems with the movie, I will say that, but I just have a soft spot for Magic Railroad. What year did you think Take and Play was at its best? I would have to say anywhere from 2010 to like early 2013, I would say was when it was the best. Because the detail on them at the time was phenomenal on that. I felt the Take and Play models were a little bit better than the Take-Along models, but yeah, I would definitely say that time was really great. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Speaking of which, what are your thoughts on Take and Play being rebooted into that new brand with plastic connectors? Oh jeez. I went through a whole bunch of emotions with that. Cause it's like, you had something, you had magnets, and then you go to plastic couplings. You can't, under normal circumstances, you can't, like, connect those two things together. Like, you can't take, like, a plastic connector model to a magnet model. You just can't connect them. So, I personally think that's a stupid decision on their part, Mattel. You're doing all these things to cut corners. I don't know why you're doing this all of a sudden. You had it great in the past. Why are you doing this now, Mattel? Why? Oh, man. I'm a little bit disappointed, but I will make it work somehow. I will make it work. As Take and Play is being replaced, will you continue to make customs for all the new characters? I think I'll really only make customs if there's not, like, a toy already for them, I think. Because, like, again, like, I know that Gina is being made for the new range, but with the plastic couplers, but what I'll probably do is I'll probably get rid of the plastic couplers and maybe put a magnet on her, which then would be like nothing happened, but like, I'll probably, in terms of customs, I'll probably just still make characters that haven't had an official toy release yet. Do you watch other YouTube videos? Yes, I do. Like, I watch Enterprise and Engine stuff, pretty much everyone in the Creative Collective. But there's people out there that are still good. Rosie Cutie I watch, Daniel I watch, Napper Harbor I watch, Unlucky Tug I watch, but yeah, I do watch some Wooden Railway stuff too from different people occasionally, just to know what they're up to, so yeah, I do watch YouTube videos. I mean, why would I be on YouTube if I'm not watching YouTube videos, right? Am I excited for Season 20? Yeah, I am. Season 20 is off to a good start right now. At the time of this recording, the first 5 episodes of Season 20 have aired, and I'm enjoying it so far. They range from, like, pretty cool to, like, they're just meh, but still watchable. But yeah, I'm excited for Season 20 and can't wait on who's returning and what's to come. Will you get the Brendan Buddies pack and use the blue troublesome truck for Rickety? Probably not, because I already made a custom Rickety as it is. So, yeah, this person kept responding to this question on a lot of my videos, so figured I might as well just answer it here. Will you please make more members of the LBSC ER class tank engines, also known as Thomas's family? Not sure what this question's all about, but moving on. What's your favorite thing you filmed? I like it all. I mean, each episode I film has its strengths and weaknesses, so yeah, I mean, they're all enjoyable. How much does your whole collection cost? Oh man, like, if I could put a number on that, I would probably say that I spend around maybe $800 just on all the engines, the rolling stock, and even the track. About $800, I would say. Who is your favorite RWS character? If you're talking about like the Railway Series only characters, I would probably say maybe the Coldy Fell engines or Bear. I mean, yeah. Pretty much all to say about that. How did you become a part of the Thomas Creator Collective? Okay, so I was talking to Matt, otherwise known as Enterprise and Engine 93, and him in his hipster-like voice said, "Hey man, can you send me a video of yours?" And I was like, sure. So I sent him a video of mine that I did recently, and I asked him why he needed it, and he said, "You'll see, man." And I'm like, okay. And then about 2 weeks later, I got a response saying like, "You're part of the collective." And I was like, great. So, Matt, if you're listening, yeah, it's all good. Can you do Trackmaster and Power Rail trains? Probably not, since I'm a take and play guy, so honestly, Trackmaster and Power Rail to people like Sidekick Jason and Percy Engine 619 and so forth. How long does it take to make one video? It really depends on the video that I'm making. It also depends on like what the video is about, because on average though, I would say that it would take me about maybe 1 day from morning till night at the very like earliest to get a video done. But if not, it probably would take me about maybe 2 days to a week to do one video, just with all the editing and the effects to add and so forth. But yeah, it's a little bit of a process. What do you think is the best Tugs episode you've done? Of the 4 that I have done, I would probably say that I'm really proud with how Trap turned out. Trap was a major improvement over my previous 3 videos I made, so I'm just really happy with how it turned out. What will you do if you have more take and play engines? Probably make more customs using them. Yeah, that's about it. Next question. What's your favorite remake you've done? Oh man, another tough question to answer, because like I've done a good amount of remakes, and like each one, again, I personally really enjoyed and liked it. If I had to choose, like I really liked what I did with the Coley Fell engines. The remake of that entire book I was really proud with how it turned out, especially when you try filming like on a mountain-ish type set. It's actually somewhat difficult. But I'm also really happy with how the Small Railway Engines stories turned out as well. I'm really glad with, because my sets have improved so much, and I really like the look of them, and yeah, I'm really happy with those. What is my least favorite remake? I think my least favorite remake would actually have to be my remake of the TV series version of Escape. Like I know it was probably one of my earlier remakes, but I just feel like that it was a little bit weak at the time. But if I ever do go back and remake Escape, it'll definitely look a lot better. When did you first start adding detail to your engines? Yeah, I've been getting a good amount of questions about this as well. I think, I started around I forgot exactly when I started first adding the detail, but it definitely was around the time when the take and play range was really starting to like get rid of have less and less detail. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna compensate for this. You take as much detail as you can away, and I'll add as much as I can to fix that. So I added like white on the running board because I added the white on the running board just because the red just looked a little bit off. So I added the white just to make it look a little bit more like how it does in the TV series and whatnot. And like other details I've added were like sometimes wheels were painted a different color. Sometimes some engines' backs aren't painted a color at all, like it's just black. Like, so I'll add a little bit of detail to them, but yeah, I just added detail just to make them look a lot more better off as they are now. Did you see Shed 17, and if so, what are your thoughts? I actually did see Shed 17, and to me, I mean, it was okay. I kind of laughed more than I probably should have, but I mean, for what it was, and with it being just how different it was to like the Thomas we know, I mean, it was fine. It was enjoyable. I had a kick out of it. Thoughts on Thomas the Tank Engine Project G1? Again, it's just like, meh. I mean, I'll watch it if it comes out and we'll just have to wait and see. Do you make the custom faces on the paper faces, or do you get them from somewhere? I get them from somewhere. Usually it's either Google Images, the Thomas Wiki itself, or even DeviantArt. Are you ready for Season 20 coming with Donald, Douglas, Daisy, and Ryan being in the season? Yeah, of course. Bring them on. What are your thoughts on PT Boomer and Thomas and the Magic Railroad? As I said before, like, I enjoy Thomas and the Magic Railroad. It does have issues, but like, it's still enjoyable. At least I got a kick out of it. PT Boomer, I think, would have been a really interesting character if they kept him in the movie. Like, it would have been our real first, like, human villain, which would have been really interesting to see. But, yeah, I mean, not much else to say about it. Next question. Why don't you use paper-printed overlays that are interchangeable on your spare Annie and Clarabelles to represent the other coaches used in the series when necessary? I was actually originally going to do that, but the reason I chose against it was because, like, the way I would have made the custom coaches, it would have looked a little bit too... I don't want to say bad, but, like, it would have to require me printing out the sides all the time, and taping them onto the coaches, which would have been what I would do, but I just didn't want to deal with it, so I painted the coaches I had instead, just to save me basically the time and paper. Do you think you can make a custom take-and-play model of Smudger? Yeah, I guess. If I get a hold of a spare Rheneas, I could definitely make a custom Smudger. Will you ever introduce Vickerstown in your series? Well, if I make my own series, then most likely yes. I actually do want to try to make a custom Vickerstown station set in the future at some point. That'll be a good side project to have. Which Thomas and Friends episode did you see first? As far back as I can remember, I think the very first episode I ever saw was the Season 2 episode Better Late Than Never. Because I had two VHS tapes at the time, and I just remember watching the Better Late Than Never one first, because, I guess because of the box art, it had an image of Duck on it, and it was the color purple, and I just found that a lot more appealing than the James Goes Buzz Buzz one, at least to me. So, I would definitely say Better Late Than Never was the first episode I watched. Would you be open to the idea of a collaboration with other people in the Thomas community? That's actually a good question. Probably, but I guess it really just depends on what they want from me, I guess. Like, I don't mind trying to do voice acting work if you want my voice for a character or two. That's fine. But in terms of, like, filming, I don't know. We'll just have to see about that. What type of camera do you use to record? I use a Canon HD Vixia, I think, VIXIA HF20 camera. It's a pretty good camera. I've had it for probably about maybe like 6 or 7 years, but it still holds up really well. What is my favorite Tugs episode? I would have to say I would definitely say Munitions for one thing. I loved all the action in that episode, but I also really love Ghost as well. The spookiness of it, I'm sort of a fan of spooky stuff, so Ghost and Munitions, I would say. Who do you look up to in the community? I would say people that I looked up to, like, when I first entered the Thomas fandom about 2 years ago, people that I definitely had an interest in were Enterprise Ninja 93, Diesel D199, Psychic Jason wasn't until a little bit later, but, like, Rosie the Cutie 1995, surprisingly a lot of Wooden Railway users, when I first started, but yeah, those were people that I looked up to. I'm like, you know what? These are all people. They're making videos about Thomas. I have a whole collection of toys sitting on my shelf, so why not make videos as well? Which remake was the hardest for you to do? Again, I would definitely probably say the mountain engine stories were probably the hardest to do. Just because of when you have to deal with like a mountainish setting, it can be a little bit difficult. Which RWS story do you think should have been made into an episode? It would have been really cool to see Super Rescue as an episode. That would have been really cool to see what Diesel 199 would have looked like in the show, along with Bear as well. So yeah, and like Super Rescue is one of my favorite stories from the Railway series, so it would have been really cool to see it on the TV screen, you know? Do you have any of the metallic take-alongs? Sadly, I do not. I would like to get like a Silver Thomas one day, but yeah, I don't have any of the metallics at this moment. Who is your favorite narrow gauge engine? I would have to say my favorite narrow gauge engine would probably be either Sir Handel or Peter Sam. And I'm not really sure why on that. I just find both Sir Handel and Peter Sam really fascinating characters. They're all fascinating, but it's just something about those two just stick out to me a little bit more. What do you do to push and pull the Taken plays along with? Fishing wire. Fishing wire is one of the best things I ever had to do this, because I'm not saying hand in the frame is a bad thing, but at least from my point of view, I would much rather do fishing wire. If you do hands in the frame, moving and pulling and pushing the engines, that's fine. It's not for me. Where do you get your models? Online, in-store, etc. It's a combination of all those things. The newer models I usually get, like, in stores, but, like, older models, like, I remember Daisy and Flora I actually had to order online for, so it's pretty much just a combination of both of them. Do you have any requests for Taken Play to be released? Again, I wouldn't mind the characters that I make customs for, even though I make customs for them. I would love for them to get an official release, but it seems like they're never gonna be released as official products, so what can you do? Any other plans for my channel? Well, aside from maybe doing several more remakes, again, there's the possibility of a potential series. There might be a possibility I may do reviews in the future of Take-and Play items, but I don't know. We'll just see. Leave your comments below and let me know if you would like that or not, and we'll see. Are you going to put your custom engines in Mountain Engines, Bad Lookout, Danger Points, and Devil's Back? If I do a remake of those remakes, then yes, most definitely. What characters would you like to see return to Thomas and Friends? Probably the same as a lot of all of you, like Boko, Stephanie, Duke, Arthur, Murdoch, Neville even. Maybe Molly if they flesh out their characters. Pretty much anyone like pre-season 12 I wouldn't mind seeing coming back. how many engines total do you have? Full collection? Last I counted, I probably had about maybe... In terms of like all my engines, my rolling stock, my road vehicles, etc., definitely like a little more than 100, I would say. Yeah, probably like around 100, 110 maybe. Yeah, it's a lot. Would you rather be a steam engine or a diesel engine, and what class would you like to be? I would definitely say I would like to be a steam engine. As for class, probably like a tank engine class, like either Thomas's class, Percy's class. Like one of those two classes would work well. I wouldn't mind. If I could, that would be interesting. Thoughts on Chuggington? It exists. I mean, I have watched a little bit of Chuggington, I will admit, just to see what it was like, and one thing I will give Chuggington credit for, more so, is Chuggington does human characters a lot better than Thomas does at the moment. I will say that. But apart from that, I mean, I don't know what I really could say about it. I mean, I just prefer Thomas over that. I mean, yeah, moving on, next question. Do you collect minis? No I don't, unfortunately. I mean, if you collect minis, that's fine, but minis just never, minis never really interest me at all. Am I a brony? No, I am not. Kind of like with Chuggington, I have watched, maybe 1 or 2 episodes of the show, just because my friends were like, hey, you gotta watch this, and I'm like, okay, and then I watched it, and, I mean, it was alright, but it never grabbed me as much as, apparently a lot of other people did. If you like the show, that's fine, whatever, that's your thing, but it's just not for me. Are there any episodes that you like from series 8 to 12 of Thomas and Friends? I haven't really watched any series 8 to 12, so I can't really... There's not really any episodes I like if I haven't watched it. I do remember the Neville episode, though. From series 9, I believe. There was that. I also remember the Rocky introduction episode, which was pretty bad, so... Yeah, probably... There's not really any episodes I like from those series. How did you decide which characters is who in your Thomas Tugs parody remakes? Honestly, for me, I just chose them just based on how I think each character was represented somewhat. Like Thomas was definitely 10 Cents, Percy Sunshine, Toby definitely OJ. The one that seems to get a lot of people, surprised that I chose was Edward as Warrior and Henry as, Big Mac, then say Gordon as Big Mac and Henry as Warrior, and Edward being Hercules. So, the reason why I chose the characters the way they are is because at the time, that just made a lot more sense to me. I mean, apparently I'm in the minority on that, but that's just how I saw it. What is your take on the newest characters announced for Season 20 of Thomas and Friends? I'm not sure if they're supposed to be for Season 20 or Season 21. I know that there's supposed to be at least one of the engines is going to be in Season 20. Which one was it again? Ooh. Yeah, Hugo. You know what? I'm gonna wait and see how Hugo is portraying the show before I really make a judgment on him, but... yeah, first impressions are kind of important. If there is an emergency in your house and you can only retrieve one steam engine, one diesel engine, one coach, one truck, and one non-rail vehicle, and all others would perish, what items would you choose? I don't know. Probably the steam engine, I would say Thomas. The diesel engine, probably Diesel 10 or either Diesel 10 or Paxton. Coach, probably Henrietta. Truck, Scruffy, non-rail vehicle, probably Harold. Yeah, that's what I can think off the top of my head at the moment. What is your favorite classic Thomas episode? Oh man, there's a whole bunch of episodes. This, again, is a tough question to answer. But if I had to choose one, though, I would probably say Fish from Season 4. Which, there's a bunch of good episodes, but for some reason, Fish I really enjoy. Fish is probably my favorite episode of Season 4. And I don't know if it's because it's a nighttime episode or what, but just something about it really just hit home with me. Do you ever do improvements to your models like painted buffers or weathering to your diesel locomotives? Definitely paint the buffers. But as for weathering, I haven't really looked into it, so I don't know if I'll do it or not, but maybe. We'll see. Will you ever make more customs for the Arlesdale Railway, such as Jock, Frank, and coaches? We'll wait and see. What I would personally like to get is, I would love to get the Ertl models of Frank and Jock, because I actually saw a comparison image of them, and they actually work in size with the take-and-play small engines. So I would personally like to have the Ertl models, but if not, I will make customs of them. We'll just have to wait and see. What item of take-and-play is underrated? You know what, I can't think of, like, just one character off the top of my head that's underrated, but I do think, like, as a whole, I really do think the take-and-play range as a whole is sort of underrated. As I said before, there's not a lot of people, making videos with them, so, yeah. And finally, the last question. Will you make other Great Race customs like Etienne? Maybe. I definitely want to try and maybe make Etienne. Etienne would probably be easy for me to make. Shane, not sure about Shane or Frida. Carlos I could probably make out of a Ferdinand model, but yeah, I might make a few more customs of them. We'll just have to wait and see. And so that concludes this Q&A video. I hope you enjoyed listening to me talk for about a good 30 plus minutes. Sorry if I don't sound like as professional as a lot of other people out there, but like I said, this is the first time really that I'm actually like talking to you guys, so yeah. Basically, but yeah, I hope I answered all your questions, and again, I apologize if I didn't, and you can definitely expect more content in the future. So, if you guys want me to make my own series, post in the comments and let me know. I mean, I have dabbled in the idea, but if you really want me to try it out, just let me know, and who knows, maybe I will eventually make a few episodes for it. But at any rate, this is TT-N-PStudio signing out, and have a good day.